Question number 1. How are teachers responsible for the safety of their students? Can you tell me how you as a teacher is responsible for the safety of your students? You are definitely going to fail that interview if you didn't practice that question. You must know what right questions to practice before your interview day. Imagine how difficult it is to get your QTS, and after getting your QTS, you land the job interview, but you didn't practice the right questions. So when they ask you a question, you are dumbfounded in the interview room. For instance, no. You may want to share this video to a colleague, because in today's video, I will be discussing interview questions. Even if it's not exactly what they'll ask you, it's going to cut across. And I'm going to give you tips on how to answer them, so that when you find yourself in the interview room, you will fluent. Okay, I'll talk about class management, safeguarding, and so forth. So share the video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get into it. Yeah. You're welcome back to another video. My name is Mercy, and I make videos for nurses and teachers. If you're not part of my Telegram page, click in the description box, the arrow that points down, and all the links will be there for you to join. We share tips and we chat over there. I'll see you there. Anyway, now let's talk about the teaching interview. What is it like? So teaching interviews also last somewhere between 30 to 45 minutes, just like all other interviews. And they would usually start with general interview questions like, tell us about yourself, why did you choose teaching, what are some of your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, these questions are almost always asked the very first time you sit down, or the very first questions, because everybody expects them. So answering them helps you to relax, okay, and makes you less anxious. But then after that, there are other questions that are tailored based on maybe the school's mission and all those things. Yes, those ones are there. So my very first tip to you is that know these general interview questions, know everything about the school that you are interviewing with before that day. Okay, in today's video, the questions that I'm going to be discussing are the ones that would have you thinking. Okay, the one that they'll ask you, they may ask you, do you want a few minutes to think about them? Yes, if you practice this interview with me today, yeah, and you go into your interview room and they ask you whatever form, no matter how they change it, and these questions cut across for all teachers. Okay, no matter how they ask it, you know, oh, this is what they want to hear from me, or this is what they are looking for in my answer, and then you're going to give them the right answer. Let's get into it. Let's start with the very first one. Now, the very first question is, how do you manage a class? So I have here my notepad where I've written all my answers in, because they are long answers and I cannot keep them in my head. Okay, so I'll be reading from my pad. So if you see me looking down, I am looking onto my pad. Okay, now let's start. How do you manage a class? First of all, you're going to say thank you very much for this question. Then you're going to go ahead and explain class management so that they know what you're talking about. Okay, not necessarily explain maybe class management is the process whereby this and this and this or that. No, form it into your own words. So the answer that I'll be reading to you, please don't copy me verbatim. Okay, because imagine you're not the only person watching this video. Don't copy my answer, but you can change it or switch it up a bit when you are asked. Okay, so this is how you're going to answer. Thank you very much for this question. Class management is the diverse actions, techniques, and skills that one takes to ensure that they create a healthy learning environment, one that students can learn well in. Okay, class management is a vital skill any teacher must have. When you say this now, in their mind they'll be like, wow, you understand? Then you go ahead and now personalize your answer. You say, I will manage a class by 1, be clear with my instructions and create a reliable routine. Okay, I will do this by, because if you give the point, you have to explain. Okay, maybe I will do this by always asking my students how their days have been before I start my lesson. That's a routine. It means that every time you come to a class, you say, oh, how has your day been? So your students always expect, oh, as for this teacher, whenever they come to class, the first thing they ask is, how has their day been. Okay, that is a routine that you have taken. Okay, number 2, you are going to build a positive relationship with your students. Know each student's strengths and weaknesses, working out their interest and ambition. So you're going to know your students well, know each and every student's strengths and their weaknesses, and you're going to help them build on their weaknesses. You're going to tailor your lessons according to their interests, okay, and ambitions. Okay, I would make my lessons fun and easy. That's another way of class management. There are certain teachers that when they come to class, everyone is annoyed or everyone is bored. No, as for you, you will manage your class by making your lessons fun and easy. You can say, oh, I'll do that by asking, or maybe by giving question of the week or riddle of the week or something. Put in your own ideas, okay, of how you can make your lessons fun and easy, right? So this should be your answer. If it has any of these elements, you are good to go. Let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 is, what will you do if your students tell you that they don't agree with a teaching strategy that you plan to use? You've already planned your strategy, or you are just telling, oh, okay, next week we're going to do this and this, but the students are like, no, we don't want that strategy, we don't think it will help us. What will you do as a teacher? Okay, so in this question, what they are trying to find out is, are you a teacher that is like autocratic? Are you a teacher that does not modify anything, like you just teach because you are told to teach, or you have your lesson plan, so okay, this is what you are going to do, we can't change anything, we can't do anything? This is like, even if your students don't agree or they don't understand, will you still go ahead and do it like that? So this is the answer that I have formulated. Okay, as a teacher, I am willing to learn what strategy makes my students learn most and use that for them. I am also willing to be able to modify and individualize when teaching. Lastly, I shall be patient with my students and not rush them. Full stop. Okay, the reason why you are saying this is because each student learn differently. You cannot use the same strategy for everyone. So if you bring a strategy that most of your students are saying is not going to help them, you should be able to modify it and individualize it. Okay, so you can use a different strategy for this person, use a different strategy for that person, and use a different strategy for this person, as long as you are on course. You understand? You don't have to be strict on using just one strategy. So that should be your answer, or at least your answer must have certain elements that I have said so far. So the scenario part of this question will be, tell us about the time where you had to modify a strategy for your students. Question number 3, describe how you would deal with a student who is distracting his peers. Okay, so you are teaching in the class, there's this particular student that is making noise or trying to distract his other peers. How would you handle this situation? So if a student is distracting his peers, it can cause them to lose attention and misunderstanding the lesson that I'm teaching. Therefore, first of all, I will find out the reason why they are acting that way and solve it for them if I can. I would also explain to them what distraction can cause to their peers and to they themselves. Then I will give them something to work on. Fourth, if I try these strategies and they don't work, I shall report them to the principal if it continues. Thank you. Simple. Very simple. Let's go to the next question. The next question is, tell us about a time where you took action to protect a student. So this question is under safeguarding, but they will not tell you that it's under safeguarding. When you hear protect, prevent, stop, it's under safeguarding. Okay, safeguarding is protecting the safety of your students. Let's answer the question. As a teacher, I have the duty to keep all students safe from harm. It is important that I recognize signs of concern or distress. Okay, that's how you are starting your answer. There was a time when I noticed that a very vibrant student who is usually very active in class started to sleep in class. I followed up with the school's safeguarding protocol, and I brought it to the attention of the head teacher. A meeting was arranged with the parents of this student, and it was investigated, and it was found out that this student was made to do chores very late at night, which stopped them from sleeping early, and hence they sleeping in class. This was discussed with their parents, and an alternative solution was brought up. Subsequently, I noticed that the child came to school and no longer slept in class. Looking back, I realized that me recognizing signs of concern and bringing up this situation to the head teacher saved this child's education. That's a scenario question you've just answered. So this is my scenario. This is a story that I have made, and you can also make up your own story. For instance, a student who is usually clean suddenly started looking unkempt, or suddenly coming to school late, or suddenly being violent to his colleagues or something. Okay, make up any story at all in your mind, but remember that at the end of your story you reflect. Okay, remember I said looking back means you are reflecting on your actions. Okay, always end your scenario questions with a reflection. When you explain, always end it with a reflection, a lesson that you've learned from the action that you took. Describe your teaching style or your style of teaching. So this one, if you don't know the various styles of teaching, you'll be at a loss. Okay, there are 5 styles of teaching, and they are authority. That's the lecture style. The teacher comes to class, lectures, teach and say things that they want to say, and then they are gone. That's the authority style. Then there's the demonstrator style. That's the coach style. They'll coach you, okay, through your learning. They'll coach you, give you tips here and there on how to do this, on how to do that. They'll not do it for you, they're just coaching you. Okay, that's the demonstrator style. Okay, number 3 is the facilitator. This is the one that will give you activity and will involve you doing something, you using your critical mind to think and coming to a solution. Okay, number 4 is the delegator. They delegate their work to you. They may form groups of activities, you and your peers, and they'll delegate the activity to you. Okay, number 5 is a hybrid style, also called the blended style, where this combines the teacher's personality and the student's needs. If you don't know these 5 styles, please, after this video, go and Google it and learn it well, so that when they ask you this question, you'll be able to answer based on these styles that I have mentioned. You can say, oh, I'm more of a demonstrator. I use the demonstrating technique during my teaching. For instance, I always make sure that I come along with items to demonstrate to my students whenever I carry out lessons, something like that. Or you can say, oh, I'm more of the lecturer type. I come and I explain the lesson and then make sure that my students understand what I'm talking about, and make sure that they understand the lesson before I leave or something. You can, any of the 5, you just pick up one and then create an explanation based on whichever technique you think you use. Okay, and then you are good to go. Right, the last but not the least question, and this is the bonus question because the video is getting already too long, okay, which is, how would you deal with bullying at school? Bullying is very common in schools. How would you, as a teacher, deal with bullying? You're asked this in an interview room. How are you going to answer? So notice that bullying is happening. Okay, so you say, I had a student, if it's a scenario question, I had a student who I noticed was suddenly becoming quiet and had bruises on their face or something. Or you notice that every time during break, this student is being picked up on by his colleagues. So you must notice the bullying. Okay, then 2.2 is remain kind and empathetic and be sensitive to the student. Don't go blaming the students. Okay, so if you don't play or if you don't pass the hallway where these guys are, they won't bully you. If you don't do this, they won't do that. No, so you must notice the bullying and you must be sensitive and understanding. I really understand what you are going through. This must be very tough for you as a student, having to deal with this, and there's like, be sensitive to the student. Okay, don't blame the student. Number 3, investigate. Okay, investigate. Why is this happening? How often does it happen? Okay, and remember, you must always follow the school protocol. No matter what you do, follow the school protocol and policies in your investigation. Don't follow the students to their house that you're investigating them. No. So understand that it is going on, be sensitive to the students and investigate, okay? And then raise concern to the head teacher for them to arrange a conversation with the parents of the students involved. So with these 4 points that I've given you, how would you then formulate your answer? You must realize it or notice that bullying is happening. You must be sensitive to the students. You must investigate it following the school's protocol, and then if it does not resolve, you raise it as a concern to the head teacher. 4 steps. Formulate it, make it into 1 sentence. Comment in the comment section and I'll be reading them. So yes, these are the 5 or 6 questions, I've lost count at this point, that you are likely going to be asked. Not exactly in the words that I've said them, but similar. The aim will be to look for those answers or those elements in your answers. So please practice these questions and twist them, like find out the diverse ways how you can be asked them, okay? Thank you very much for watching this video. Like I said, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Join my Telegram pages. We do have Zoom meetings every now and again. You can join and ask your questions or ask it in the group, okay? There's so much help available there as well. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.